So the season is nearly over. Only a handful of games left. We know some big changes are coming in the off-season. But for now, let's finish out the last few games. We'll jump in for the last game of the season, commemorate the remaining roster, and we'll see who will end up eventually sticking out through the off-season. So between the pipes, we'll have Felix Sandstrom. We'll put in Carter Hart for the last game of the season, why not? But let's give Sandstrom some starts here. And it's going to be interesting to see who will end up winning the Cup. An interesting Final Four in real life. Shame that Seattle lost. It would have been interesting to see them go against Vegas. Battle of the two expansions. Buffalo looks like they had a mediocre year. St. Louis, pretty mediocre. And Farabee is out for the remainder of the year. Alright, let's go ahead and simply do best lines for now. For our defense, I like to have Provorov on the top line there. Carter Hart has 64 games, so we'll just have Felix Sandstrom finish out the season as a matter of fact. Play the games of April. And of course, Joel Farabee is available, but we'll just have him be out for the remainder of the year because who knows, he'll get re-injured and we'll just get some players some more experience. Who's against Boston? Columbus. Columbus is a pretty decent team. Who's against them? And our final game of the season is going to be on the road against the Chicago Blackhawks. So let's jump in for the first period there.
Final home game of the season and final game of the year for that matter as they're not playoff bound. Hi everybody, I'm James Cebulski. Welcome back. Two teams looking starved for a win, and we are set to go. The Blackhawks start with possession as we are now underway. Chicago's got it along the wall. The Flyers move the puck in the defensive zone. Centering feed! And that's stopped! Both sides digging in for that puck along the wall. He scores!
Well, I don't think anybody's really settled into the game yet, and already we have the game's first goal. The coaches talk about getting to the front of the net, make it difficult on the goalie, take his eyes away. Man, he only can see the player's butts in front of him. He can't even see the puck.
Philadelphia's come ready to play tonight with an early goal.
Can't be any better than that. They wanted to start the game quickly, get on the board fast if they could. It's a perfect start.
Couturier's gained possession inside the neutral zone. Puck picked up by Van Riemsdyk. Makes the stop with the blocker.
Certain saves are more difficult than others. This one right from the slot is turned aside.
Grabs the puck here at the blue line. And he gets just enough of it to keep it out for the back of the net. McCabe's lugging the puck. And now he moves it to Athanasiou. Oh, he had the right idea, but couldn't make that play with the pass. Moves it to Lawton. Can't make it work. Philadelphia's got the puck inside the defensive zone. Chicago's got a hold of it against the wall. The Blackhawks have it from their own end. And they'll battle for that loose puck along the boards. From the defensive zone, they move the puck around. Poked away at center by Lawton. Icing is the call. We'll get a face-up at the other end.
Athanasiou's not got anything done recently offensively, and you know it's starting to eat away at him.
Still lots of time left here in this frame. 1-0 the score. Chicago's won the draw and they'll go to work.
They've got the puck now. We've got a tired defensive group to play against.
Shot! Glove save made by Husso. We got a whistle as the puck's frozen. Officials have got both teams ready, and it looks like play is set to resume here. Back underway, and they take possession here inside the offensive zone. And a solid save there as we play on. Up the neutral zone now. The Flyers take possession in the defensive end. Fires it into the offensive zone. Chicago's gained possession along the boards. Feeds the puck across to Tkachuk. Quick snap! Denies him in close.
Somehow the shooter got loose in the slot, but the goaltender's equal to the task. That's a good save.
Frost's won a big draw in their own end. Feeds it on over to McEwen. Hard blast! And he gets in front of that rocket. Oh, and that's poked away in the offensive zone by Donato. Chicago's got the puck in the defensive end. Stillman's going to play it against the half wall. Oh, and he just got enough of that one to keep it out. Good hit on the play. Taken by Kara. Oh, love the defensive stick work there to poke that one away. Along the half wall with the puck. Takes the puck into the corner of the offensive end. Oh, and they probably want a redo on that. Philadelphia's got the puck along the boards. Here he is in close. Scores! That's 2 unanswered now.
They stayed right on it. Once they got that first one, they just pushed the pace of this. Now they get another. Wow, did he hammer that? Too much power for the goalie to control it. It hits him and still goes in.
Philadelphia's now jumped out to a 2-goal lead here in the first.
They didn't sit back after that first one, James, and they've been rewarded again.
Puck grab by York. Slides it across to Tippett. Oh, big time save by Husso. From behind the net. The Flyers take it along the wall. Oh, he got all of that. What a save by Husso. Chicago's got a hold of the puck. Quick pass to Lafferty. Sends a pass over. The Flyers gain control of the puck against the wall. And now it's grabbed by Tippett. Here's a chance. Stopped by the goaltender, getting a piece of that one. The Blackhawks will play it from the defensive zone. Chicago's got the puck along the wall. Stopped by the goaltender. Sandstrom's on top of the puck, and that'll stop the play.
Pretty conservative play here, James, as he covers it up to kill the play.
Couturier is a big name for this club, and they rely on him to generate offense. Kane's good at stick handling. It's his puck-on-a-string zone ability, and that's how he manufactures offense. I'll be watching these two players to see if one of them can really shine for their team tonight. Guys, back to you.
Denies him on the play. Grabbed along the boards by Couturier. Quick feed to York. Nice pass. From one point man to another. Pass back to the point. Here we go. Look at this. They are really applying the squeeze down in the offensive end. And they go the other way as they clear the zone. And he loses possession of the puck after trying to make one too many moves. Feeds it to McCabe. Directs it on over to Athanasiou. From the right wing, he moves it to the middle. Couldn't make the connection on the play. Dishes it to Brown. Cutting to the front of the net. Right in the low slot. Here's a feed in front. Chicago's got a hold of it along the wall. First period almost in the books here, nearing the final 60 seconds. From his own end, he picks up the puck. The Blackhawks gain possession along the wall. They try to maintain possession inside the defensive zone. Stillman's got it against the boards. Oh, he gets in front of that to make a great save. there's the horn. Still 40 more minutes left in regulation time. We'll get to the second period right after this.
Well, we end up blowing out the Chicago Blackhawks. That's a pretty good way to end the season. Sean Couturier ends up leading our team in points with 56. Only 22 goals though. But I suppose that's decent. At least he played in every single game this year, albeit a pretty disastrous year. But let's just simulate a few days in advance to wrap up the season. Alright, so the playoffs have begun. Your first round is set up there. We'll jump in and take a look at the stats for the regular season. And then we'll simulate through the playoffs. Did our AHL team make the playoffs? Phantoms. Looks like they finished third in the Atlantic, so that's not too shabby. Isaac Radcliffe might be a promising prospect. The season isn't quite over yet. I don't really care that much at the moment for our AHL club. We'll look at them in the future as we begin the draft and add some more prospects into the system. And that may make things a little bit more interesting. So let's take a look at the stats for the players first. Look at our team, and then we'll look at the top 10 in the NHL. So we'll go by position. So obviously Sean Couturier, our leading scorer, our number one center, one of our only X-Factor players. I think that means barely one. But he's been with us since 2011. Quite a few superstar abilities there. And yeah, he signed for quite some time. So it's probably going to be time to part ways this offseason. We'll see if we can deal him at the draft, if not on July 1st. Again, it pains me, but he's not getting any younger, and this team needs some younger talent. And we also need to shed some salary cap. I really don't want to have any salary cap problems. Scott Laughton having a pretty solid season from what he is. You know, he's a third line forward, but pretty good productive year. Probably his most productive season in the NHL. First season was 2012. I guess his first full season was 2016. Not even that. 2017 through 2018. Looks like he's definitely been with us for a while at this point. But been a regular since 2017, 2018. But that's his NHL high. So we'll definitely keep him around. We got him for a few more years, Scott Laughton. And a really good cap hit as well. Morgan Frost, again, hoping to see him develop more the next season. Young player. Patrick Brown coming in, just a 30-year-old, nothing special, plumber type of player. Probably see him go. Joel Farabee, again, got injured towards the end of the year, but finished with 41 points. Career NHL high. Unfortunately, he didn't hit the 20-goal plateau like his sophomore season in the NHL, but not too shabby. I mean, he at least has a career high in points, so that's positive. Hope to see him grow. Only 23 years old. Van Riemsdyk, probably our leading goal scorer with 26. I don't think we had a single 30-goal scorer. We'll look at our right wingers, but Van Riemsdyk, 33 years of age. He's probably going to be leaving Philadelphia for the second time, sadly. Ryan Donato, again, came over at the trade deadline. 21 games, 11 points, plus 3, 27 years of age. A fourth line, third line player. We'll see if he ends up sticking around. Might package him in a deal. Again, these guys are nothing special. Noah Cates, nothing special in potential-wise. These are just random, I wouldn't say random players, but just barrel type kind of players to fill out our team. Again, this team really lacks some depth. Konechny, 20 goal season, so that's pretty good. Good job there by Konechny. 43-point season. You can see how he's produced in the past. 24 goal seasons, 3 seasons in a row. At least he hits 20 goals again this year. Cam Atkinson, 43 goals. Pretty disappointing year, honestly, for what you're paying. Kind of expect a little bit more goals there, so we'll probably look to move him this offseason. Owen Tippett, only 21 points. Honestly, has to do better. We'll probably give him another year shot, see how he produces next season. Maybe another year or two, because he's still a young player. Don't want to give up on him. That's one problem the Flyers have always had, is patience with the young players. Look at Patrick Sharp. Even look at Patrick Maroon currently. Wade Allison. Defensively, D'Angelo actually leads our blue lines, surprisingly, with 42 points after the departure of Ryan Ellis. But Ivan Provorov there with 29 points. We'll see what our future is with him. If we decide to part ways with him again in the offseason. Travis Sandheim, I think he may have an extension kicking in next year. If that's the case, we'll definitely look to move him, because I think it's a pretty bad long-term deal. I don't think it's worth it for him. Or maybe we'll just keep him for one more season, see how he does. This Lane, huge defenseman. Cam York, 22 years old, top forward potential. We'll see if he gets a bump here in the off season. He could be a potential future top 4 Flyer long term. Lundqvist, a youngster, picked him up at the deadline, something like that. And I guess after we did best lines, I kicked him out or whatever. He probably belongs down in the AHL. 77 overall. He might get a boost as well. Justin Braun, parting ways with him. And Kata Hat, 65 games on the season, 28 wins. That's a career year in his books. I mean, his first full-fledged start. I know in real life he was hurt. I don't know how many starts he got this year. But decent numbers, I guess. 65 starts again. Didn't hit 30 goals, but that's the career high in goals. Decent numbers, I guess, if you compare it to the previous seasons. So, I don't know. We'll see if he grows. I mean, you don't want to part ways with him just yet, because you don't know how he'll bloom, but I'm leaning to potentially explore different options in the net for the future. And Felix Sandstrom there. As our backup ended up scrounging quite a bit starts, but it's better numbers than Hart, so it's good. Anyway, let's go ahead and we'll go to all skaters, and we will go to entire league. See who were the leaders. Connor McDavid ends up posting 96 points. So interesting, no 100-point scorers. So Connor McDavid, 96 points. Johnny Gaudreau, first season in Columbus, tallies 96 points. Alex Ovechkin, 37 years of age, wow. And he tallied 95 points, 59 goal season. Remarkable effort by Ovechkin. We'll see if the Capitals made it to the playoffs this season in this universe. Edmonton's Leon Draisaitl, 94 points. Colorado's Nathan McKinnon, 93 points. Mitchell Marner, Toronto, 90 points. Austin Matthews right behind him with 89 points. Mikko Rantanen with 85 points. And lastly, William Nylander with 85 points. So, interestingly enough, Crosby or Malkin are not on this list with top 10 point producers in the league. Not surprising to see Connor McDavid, who is the leading goal scorer, but it's Ovechkin. Yep, Alex Ovechkin with 59 goals. Second place isn't even really close. David with 43 goals. Patrick Kane, so goal scoring definitely down. Patrick Kane stays in
Chicago in this universe, was not dealt to the Rangers. We'll see if he becomes a free agent. If he was scheduled to be a free agent this offseason. We'll see if Chicago ends up parting ways with him. Then you got Rantanen, the Brinket. This is a skilled goal scorer. He's with Ottawa. Austin Matthews with 37. Patrick Laine with 37. So curious to see where Columbus placed in the standings. Jack Eichel in 9th place there with 36 goals. And last but not least on the list, Nikita Kucherov of Tampa. And that's another name we didn't see on the top 10 in points is Steven Stamkos. Oh, and last but not least, we'll also look at the goalies, I guess. It's kind of weird ranking goalies. In a way, they're kind of a representation of the entire team. Oh, we're in standings, my bad. But looks like, my bad. Let's go back to players real quick and look at the top goalies. Alright, so let's see, goalies. Okay, so it sorts it by win, so yeah, it's kind of representation of the team, right? But I guess your most winning goalie was Robin Lehner of Vegas. Then you had Jack Campbell of Edmonton, Pavel Francois of Colorado. But interestingly enough, I mean, they don't have amazing numbers. Like, their goals against average is honestly kind of high, except for Robin Lehner. That's pretty good goals against average. But I guess of the past games, a good goals against average would be like around 2.1. Spectacular would be like 2.0, right? Very rare you see it. But in this game, that's pretty high. Vasilevsky of Tampa. So he's not the best goalie in the league, statistically. But overall, I mean, it's amazing. 94 overall, a franchise goalie. So curious to see where Tampa is in the standings. Freddie Anderson from Carolina, 37. Darcy Kemper leads Colorado, goes to Washington. He's 6th best goalie this season, 36 wins. Tristan Jarry with pretty big numbers there. Last but not least, Igor Shesterkin. And then you have Jacob Markstrom, 10th place there. So I'm curious to see where these teams are going to be in the standings, see who's playing who, look at the playoff tree. So, I don't know if we'll do an entire league. We'll go by division. So Metropolitan Division, you have the Washington Capitals, 102 points, didn't hit 50 wins. My buddy Pittsburgh, they made the playoffs, 96 points. New York Rangers, they made the playoffs, 95 points. And the Carolina Hurricanes make the playoffs as well. Interestingly enough, Columbus doesn't make the playoffs. New Jersey doesn't make the playoffs. Obviously, we didn't make the playoffs. But we actually did better than the New York Islanders, surprisingly enough. The Islanders bottom of the barrel in our division. Next, we'll look at the, where is it? What's over here? Atlantic Division. So in the Atlantic, you have the Detroit Red Wings, who actually hit 52 wins. Again, a big surprise to see their production. I don't quite remember who they have between the pipes. But we didn't see anyone in the top 10 for Detroit. And they're clinched the conference. So that's pretty amazing. Tampa, 93 points. Obviously, they're not missing the playoffs. Not quite as good as past seasons. But hey, they made the playoffs. Toronto makes the playoffs, and Ottawa squeezes in a ticket to the playoffs as well. For Drew, ex-Flyer, will be in the Cup. Montreal Canadiens miss out. Boston Bruins, they have a pretty bummed out year, which honestly is kind of how you expected them to be. At least I did. I didn't really hype them up to do that good, but yeah, they miss out the 2023 postseason. So does Florida, a team who in real life is in the Eastern Conference Finals right now. And Buffalo, bottom of the barrel, rebuilding team with 79 points. Alright, so on the western side of things, we'll look at the Central first, the weakest division, I guess. Or no, the Pacific is probably the weakest in the league. But Colorado, 116 points. They clinch the league. I think the best team in the league. Yep. 116 points. Pretty impressive. Dallas, 92 points. They make it. As well as Winnipeg. Looks like nobody in the Central clinched the wild card. Minnesota misses out. Nashville misses out. St. Louis misses out. Chicago misses out. And Arizona, probably the worst team in the league, with a mere 63 points. But yeah, Chicago doesn't make it. But we blew them out of the water. 7-1 blowout. And last but not least, the Pacific Division. Got the Oilers, Kings. But they're kings of the division there with 103 points. Vegas right behind them, 101. Calgary, they make the playoffs. Seattle makes the playoffs, pretty good. And Vancouver squeezes in as well. Pretty impressive there with Vancouver and Seattle making the wild card. Anaheim misses out. San Jose and Los Angeles out. So all the California teams did not make the playoffs. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and simulate the first round of the playoffs. Jump into the calendar. I believe it shows us the matchups there. Yep, it does. All right. So in the Western Conference, we have the Oilers against Seattle, Las Vegas against Calgary, Colorado against Vancouver, Dallas and Winnipeg. So my money on the West is tough. It's between Edmonton and Colorado, I would say, is the Western Conference final. And then in the East, I would say it's probably going to be, my money is on Tampa or Toronto. I mean, it could be anyone. I would love Ovechkin to win a cup. I would love Crosby to win one. The Rangers have a decent lineup, so it's hard to pick one in the East. But we'll see what Toronto will do against Tampa. Obviously, in the real life, they knock them out in the first round. And yeah, pretty interesting stuff to see Detroit and Ottawa. That's a good series there, Pittsburgh and the Rangers. So, I don't know, I'm not going to make a prediction here, honestly, for the East. So let's go ahead and simulate to the final. I think it's starting around May 10th. We get a decent idea there. See how our AHL team ends up doing. So Colorado sweeps Vancouver. Carolina beats Washington. You got your second round there. Colorado and Dallas. Edmonton plays Vegas there. So we have Colorado and Dallas there in the second round. Edmonton and Vegas. Vegas knocked out Edmonton, sadly, in real life, but that's a pretty big series there. Canadian team will advance to the finals. And then Carolina is struggling against the Rangers, and Detroit is somehow beating Tampa Bay. Oh my goodness. So now that we got a better picture, I'm hoping Tampa comes back against Detroit and faces Carolina. Carolina and Tampa. Little old school Southeast. I guess the South Division, there used to be that rivalry. Holy smokes, so we already simulated the Stanley Cup Final, and would you look at that? The 2023 Stanley Cup Final in this universe is Colorado and the Rangers. So a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup, wouldn't you believe that? So let's look up the lineups for these teams real quick, get a better idea. guess we'll look at the goaltending first. So, Colorado, Pavel Francois is their starter. He's 84 overall. His backup is Antti Ranta. Guess they maybe acquired him at the deadline. The regular lineup is Landeskog, McKinnon, Rantanen. Who's this guy? Newhook. 84 overall. Alex Newhook, 22 years of age, 84 overall. Interesting. The center core is nothing special. Rodriguez is the second line center. I don't know if they have injuries. Valeri Nichushkin, 86 overall. Martin Kaut, JT Compher, Mikhail Maltsev. So we got a pretty deep team. Holy moly, Darren Helm is still playing. I didn't realize he was with Colorado. So obviously their first line is amazing. Second line is decent, but I think they have a really solid offense. Yeah, Devin Toews and McCarr are the best defensemen in the league. He's 93 overall. Got McCarr. Next guy, Eric Johnson, 35 years of age. With Bowen Byron, 21 years of age, 86 overall. So they got some really solid guys. Really good top four core there. Last defensive pairing isn't anything special. Anton Strawman, along with Brad Hunt, two aging defensemen, but experienced, right? Now let's see, they're going up against the Rangers, who got Gostisbehere at the deadline. Hell, I think they have Ryan Ellis, right? So we traded Ellis, and he ends up making it to the Stanley Cup final with the New York Rangers. And if I'm not mistaken, we may have their first round pick, so that's not good. But Shane Gostisbehere, Alan Fox, Ryan Ellis, Keandre Miller, Alexander Edler. Did they get him at the deadline? He was with the Kings, and I guess the Kings traded him to the Rangers, so he may be retiring in the off-season, so this could be his last shot at a cup. Of course, he had a cup shot with Vancouver in 2011, and he hasn't been back since, so interesting to see what he's going to do here with the Rangers. That's the aging defenseman. And then you have Brandon Schneider, a 21-year-old, 80 overall. I'm sure he'll turn into a solid top four defenseman, so pretty good defensive core there for the Rangers. They definitely bolstered Ryan Ellis, who of course in this universe has been healthy. I've been with the Rangers at the deadline. It's posting 8 points, not too shabby, so he finishes the year with 16 points, so that's pretty darn good for a defenseman. Playoffs, so far he has 10 points, so definitely contributing to the Rangers' playoff effort. And offensively, they got Panarin, 92, Zibanejad, 88, Lafreniere, 86, solid first line. Trocheck, Chris Kreider, he's only 32, wow. He's been with the Rangers forever. Barclay Goodrow, Apokako, 83 overall. He hasn't been growing that much, but he's still young. He could still improve. So pretty solid lineup there for the Rangers. Let's say Colorado definitely hasn't beat on that first line. Of course, in this universe, they didn't get Tarasenko or Kane, sadly. But I guess it didn't matter because they're at the Stanley Cup final again. And of course, I think we already looked at the goalies, but they got Shesterkin, 92 overall, one of the top goalies in the league currently, and Halak backing him up. Can Halak win a cup? I'd like to see Halak win a cup. Alright, so we'll just hit the send the draft button. We already know what the finals is about. The New York Rangers win the Stanley Cup. Would you look at that? That's pretty impressive there. The New York Rangers are your 2023 Stanley Cup champions. When was the last time they won? 1994? 1993? obviously in '94. But nearly 30 years later, they win another Stanley Cup. That has to be very exciting for the city of New York and New York State. So, look at retirements. Eric Stahl was a free agent apparently in this universe. Finishes his career with 1,034 points. Jay Weber retires in Vegas. They put him in the AHL this season. Yes. He dressed in any NHL games, right? Yeah, spent the entire year with Henderson. He's done, so really good defenseman. Ryan Kessler, he's done, sadly. Andrew Vlad, Phil Pula, Coleman. Anyway, we're not going to go down this whole list, but yeah, I guess your highest profile is next. Let's look at our team, see if we lost anyone. I don't think we did. Probably not. Yeah. Goalies. Good guys. In general, the Flyers are fairly young, but this Braun didn't retire. I don't care about the draft interviews. Yeah, we'll edit the trade block. You know, I'll just save that for the next video. We'll get this set up here, and we'll jump right into the draft for the next video, which is going to be pretty exciting because we're definitely going to try to move some pieces around, and we'll get ready for the off season.